Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Well, today we're taking a look at Zane's The Hot Box,
Ooh, fun.
using the Barnes& Noble description as our guide.
Okay.
Now, this one's got a really unique premise.
Oh,
It's about two women, Milena and Lydia,
Okay.
and they're treating their relationships with four different men
Right.
like a game of hot box.
Like the baseball drill.
Yeah, exactly. Reading has never been this hot.
That caught my attention right away.
Right. So what jumped out at you about this whole hot box metaphor?
Well, first off, it's pretty clever.
Yeah.
I mean, using a baseball drill to describe relationships.
Right.
It's not your typical love story.
Definitely not. But how does it actually, how does this hot box thing, how does it actually play out in the book?
Well, think about the drill itself.
Okay.
You've got fielders trying to tag out runners,
Right.
stuck between bases.
Okay.
So there's this constant tension,
Mm-hmm.
this back and forth,
Yeah.
this feeling of always being on edge.
Oh, I see.
Like never knowing when you'll be tagged out.
Wow. So you're saying it's
Yeah.
it's not just a cute little game.
No, not at all.
It's got a real sense of like competition or
Exactly, like a power struggle.
a power struggle. Okay.
Yeah.
And the description even mentions that the men,
Right, the men.
they have no idea they're part of this game.
Oh, it's all very hush-hush.
So it's like Milena and Lydia,
Uh-huh.
they're the ones in control,
Absolutely. They're calling the shop.
orchestrating this whole thing.
And that's where it gets really interesting because
Yeah.
it adds this layer of,
Like what?
well, manipulation, strategy,
Ooh.
maybe even a little deception.
Whoa, that's a whole other level.
Right. It's like Zane saying, hey, relationships aren't always what they seem.
No kidding. And speaking of layers,
Yeah.
let's talk about Milena and Lydia themselves.
Oh, they're a fascinating pair.
They are best friends,
Right.
but their reasons for playing this hot box game
Totally different motivations.
seem completely different. So how would you describe their personalities based on the description?
Okay, so Milena,
Yeah.
she's described as living the sheltered and dismal existence.
Ooh, that sounds rough.
Yeah, and get this, she hasn't been intimate with anyone
What?
for 8 years.
Wow, 8 years.
8 years. Then you've got Lydia,
Okay.
who's ambitious and uses, quote, good sex to get ahead.
So they're like total opposites,
You could say that.
but they're best friends.
Best friends.
It's kind of hard to imagine how their friendship even works, let alone how they manage to like
Yeah.
work together on this hot box scheme.
It makes you wonder.
Definitely. And then there are the four men,
Oh, yes, the men.
Jacour, Yosef, Glenn, and Phil.
A mysterious bunch.
Zane doesn't say much about them in the description,
She keeps it pretty vague.
which just adds to the mystery, right?
Yeah.
Like, are they just pawns in this game?
That's the question.
Or will one of them figure out what's going on?
It's Zane, you never know.
True, true. But to understand the hot box a little better,
Yeah.
I think we need to talk about Zane's style.
Her signature style.
In general, like this line from the description.
Taking you outside the box.
Yeah. It seems very intentional, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like she's acknowledging her reputation for, pushing the boundaries and
Right.
exploring themes that some readers might find
A little edgy.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
It's what she's known for.
So remind us, what's Zane's background?
Okay, so she's a New York Times bestselling author of erotica.
Right.
And she's even ventured into television.
Oh, yeah. That's right. She had that Cinemax series, right?
Yep, and a film adaptation too.
Which makes me think the hot box is a perfect example of how she's always exploring these unconventional
Yeah.
relationships
Absolutely.
and female desire.
She's a master at it.
So let's recap.
Okay.
We've got this really intriguing hot box concept,
Right.
then these two complex women.
Yeah, with completely different motivations.
Exactly. And of course, there's Zane's style,
Mm-hmm.
which is known for being bold and,
Yeah.
pushing boundaries.
Exactly.
But I think what makes this book even more interesting
Yeah.
is
What's that?
how it seems to connect the personal
Mm.
with the societal.
Ooh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, it's like Zane's using this game, this hot box game,
Yeah.
to say something about the bigger games,
No,
the games that we all play in society.
That's a really cool perspective.
Right. It makes you question the roles we all play,
Yeah.
the power structures, and even the masks that we wear.
Even in our most intimate connections.
Exactly. It's like Zane's holding up this mirror
Mm-hmm.
and forcing us to confront these unspoken truths.
About desire, manipulation.
Yeah. And the lengths we'll go to get what we want.
Oh, it's deep.
It is. And we've only just scratched the surface.
I know. I'm hooked already.
Me too. Now, before we go any further,
Yeah.
I want to hear from you, the listener.
Oh, I love when we get the audience involved.
You too.
Yeah.
So tell me, if you were in Milena's shoes, how would you play this hot box game?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Right. Would you be, like, super strategic?
Yeah.
Like, carefully planning each move?
Like Milena.
Yeah, exactly. Or would you be more, I don't know, go with the flow?
More like Lydia.
Yeah, like more instinctual.
Yeah, it really makes you think about your own personality.
It does. Like, are you someone who likes to be in control?
Yeah.
Or do you prefer to just see where things go?
Because maybe that's the real point of the whole hot box thing.
What do you mean?
Well, it forces us to think about what we really want
Okay.
in our relationships.
Okay.
Like, is it all about winning?
Ooh, interesting.
Or is there something more to it?
Like what?
Like connection, vulnerability.
Oh, I see.
Even in the middle of this game.
Yeah, it's like Zane's challenging the whole idea of winning when it comes to relationships.
Exactly. Like, maybe it's not about the end goal.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about the journey, the self-discovery.
What a good point.
It's about growing as a person.
Definitely makes you rethink things.
It does.
And speaking of challenging convention,
Oh, yeah.
Zane's definitely not shying away from female desire in this book.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like, this isn't just about romance.
It's about so much more.
Yeah, it's about women taking charge.
Owning their sexuality.
And using it as a force.
Exactly.
Which is so refreshing.
I know.
Yeah.
Especially in a genre that's often,
right?
Dominated by male perspective.
Totally.
But Zane flips the script.
She puts the women in control.
And they're the ones dictating the terms.
Like she's reclaiming the narrative.
Yeah. And giving voice to a perspective that's often been silenced.
Exactly.
And she does it in such a captivating way.
It's not just about the shock value.
Right.
It's about exploring the full spectrum of female desire.
Yeah.
The complexities of the nuances.
There's things that often get ignored.
Exactly. It's about showing that women can be multifaceted,
strategic,
ambitious,
and yearning for connection.
all at the same time.
That's what makes the hot box so compelling.
I agree.
It's more than just a romance novel.
Yeah.
It's a social commentary.
Disguised as a game.
Exactly. It exposes those hidden power dynamics that we all face.
In our relationships.
Yeah, and in society.
And it makes us question
right.
the roles we play.
The masks we wear.
The motivations behind our actions.
It's like Zane saying, sometimes the lines get blurred.
Between love and strategy.
Yeah, desire and manipulation.
Right. And that's the most intriguing question.
What is?
Like, where do we draw the line?
Ooh, that's a good one.
How do we navigate those gray areas without losing ourselves?
Those are questions we'll be thinking about for a while.
I know. Zane's really good at leaving us with more questions than answers.
Oh, she's a master at that.
Which is the mark of a great storyteller.
Absolutely. She sparks our curiosity, makes us question our assumptions.
And leaves us wanting more.
That's the beauty of a deep dive like this.
It is. It's not just about dissecting a book.
It's about connecting the dots.
Between fiction and reality.
Right, the stories we read.
And the stories we live.
And sometimes those stories are more connected than we think.
Which brings me to my next question for you,
the
listener. Have you ever thought about your own life? Like your relationships, your career.
Yeah.
And how those things could be seen through the lens of this hot box metaphor.
That's a really interesting way to look at it.
Right. Like, are there games being played?
Oh, definitely.
Strategies you're using.
Even if we don't realize it.
Even subconsciously.
Yeah, because think about it.
Yeah.
From negotiating a raise to just navigating a tricky social situation.
Right.
There's always that element of strategy.
Oh.
Like weighing your options.
Yeah.
Trying to read the other person.
It's like we're all in this elaborate dance.
Yeah.
Anticipating each other's moves.
But also trying to stay true to ourselves.
Exactly. And that's where this hot box idea,
a metaphor,
becomes so insightful.
Because it shows that tension.
Between what?
Between our own agency and the influence of everything around us.
Oh, I see.
Like, are we really in control? Or are we just reacting to pressure from other people?
Expectation.
Exactly. And this theme of societal influence, it's something Zane explores a lot.
Throughout her work,
Like, in The Other Side of the Pillow.
Oh, yeah, that's a great example.
She tackled infidelity head on.
And the double standard.
Right, for men and women.
Yeah. It got pretty real.
She didn't shy away from the messiness and the power dynamics.
Exactly. And it seems like in the hot box, she's taking that exploration.
Even further.
Using this game metaphor.
Right. It's like she's saying,
Yeah.
hey, we all play games, but let's at least be aware of the rules.
And the consequences.
Exactly.
And maybe that awareness is key.
To what?
To navigating these relationships in a way that feels authentic.
So it's not about avoiding the game.
No, not necessarily.
It's about playing it consciously.
With intention.
Yeah, with integrity.
Like you said, knowing the rules.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the hot box, I think the big takeaway is this.
What's that?
Relationships are complicated.
Oh, they definitely are.
There's always going to be some level of strategy involved.
Negotiating.
Navigating those unspoken rules.
Part of the game.
And maybe by acknowledging that, by embracing this hot box mentality, we can become more conscious players.
Making choices.
Yeah.
That align with our values.
Our desire.
We can recognize the games, assert our own agency, and find those connections that go beyond
manipulation.
Control.
Exactly.
So that's our deep dive into Zane's The Hot Box.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. We explored the metaphor,
characters,
the themes,
the power dynamics,
all the things that make this book
so thought-provoking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now it's your turn.
Our listeners.
Yeah, to keep the conversation going.
Go grab a copy of The Hype Box.
Dive into Zane's world.
And let us know what you think.
What resonates with you.
What challenges your assumptions.
And most importantly, how does this hot box metaphor play out in your own life?
We want to hear your thoughts.
Until next time.
Keep those deep dive questions coming.
We'll be here.
Ready to explore
and
analyze.
And uncover those hidden truths.